Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ruchika Pal, Assistant Professor in Suresh Ganvihar University, and today I will discuss the topic about the amputation. So we will discuss general objectives or the learning objectives of the classes there. We will discuss the history of the amputation. We will discuss the clinical features of the amputations. We will discuss the why we need to take the amputation or why we have to follow which protocol we have to follow for the amputation. What is amputation? And what are the chances of the other infections, or you can say special features of amputations and prosthesis and orthosis in the orthopedic practice. So, about the history of the amputation, amputation is a Latin noun from the verb amputere. Amputere is to cut off or to cut away, derived from the am, about to, amputere, to prune or to lop. The verb amputere was employed to cutting off the hands of criminals. Now, in earlier 15th century, the Sarajevo of the Guy de Chauliac has a paragraph added the delay in cutting of a dead membrane, the rule in cutting of a dead member. Ambroise Paré in 1564, father of French surgery, improved ligation of large vessels during surgery, that is of the gangrene. Loewe 1612, English extirpation. So this is the history, and I've been continuing the history. Woodall 1617, dismembering or amputation. Woodall 1639 employed both amputation and dismembering, the former as often. Dionys 1750 suggested employing the Greek word acrotinostosis, cutting off the extremities of the bodies. In 17th century, British authors Cooke and Wiseman employed amputation. So it is about that we have evolved with the name amputation. So the definition the definition of the amputation is the removal of a limb, part or total from the body. Disarticulation is removing the limb through a joint. Generally, the amputation of lower limb are more common than those of the upper limb. So if I will talk about the what is amputation or about the definition of the amputation, amputation is a procedure when a part of the limb is removed from one or more bones. It should be distinguished from the disarticulation where a part is removed through a joint. For simplifying this discussion, the term amputation is applied to both these procedures. Now, amputation of lower limb is more commonly performed than that of the proper upper limb. However, partial amputation of fingers or hand is common in developing countries, mainly as sequel of a farm and machine injuries. So, this is about regarding the definition of the amputation. Or we can simplify if the measure we will go for that. That amputation is the removal of an extremity by trauma, prolonged constriction, medical illness, or surgery. As a surgical measure, it is used to control pain or disease process in the affected limb, such as malignancy or gangrene. In some cases, it is carried out on individual as a preventive surgery for such problems. A special case in that of congenital amputation, congenital disorder where fetal limbs have been cut off by constrictive bands. In some countries, amputation of the hands, feet, or other body parts is what used or was used as a form of punishment for people who committed crimes. Amputation has also been used as tactic in war and act of terrorism. It may occur as a war injury. So you can say that this is the definition of the amputation, or you can say we have elaborated the definition of the amputation. So what is the amputation? It is the removal of a limb by trauma, medical illness, or surgery. Now move forwarding to the other thing. Incidence. Commonly in age in 50 to 70 years. Gender, male affected is the 75%, rather than the female. Female is affecting up to the 25%. Limbs, lower limb 85%, upper limb 15%. Now we can move forward to the Indications of the amputation. So overall, injury is the commonest cause of the amputation in the developing countries. So first is a trauma, RTA, road traffic accident, gunshot, you can say, malignant tumors, nerve injuries and infection, extreme heat and cold burn, gangrene, peripheral vascular insufficiency, congenital absence of limbs or malformation, severe infection. So, elaborating the indications or elaborating the causes of the amputation. Injury is the commonest cause of amputation in developing countries. Injury may be sustained in traffic accident, that is RTA, in agriculture fields during harvesting season in riots. Upper limb amputations occur commonly by chopper or thresher machines, which is usually called putti machines in the India. Train accidents at a level railway crossing, unaware of coming train, it can be any causes of the accident or injury or the trauma. Now, common cause of lower limb amputation. Some common indications for amputations are injury, peripheral vascular disease, also including diabetes, infection, that is the gas gangrene, tumors, nerve injuries, congenital anomalies. So it vary in different age groups also. In elderly, that we have already studied about that 50 to 75 years. Peripheral vascular disease with or without diabetes is the main cause. Or in younger adults, 25 to 30 years, amputation is most often secondary to injury or its sequel. In children's, limbs may be deficient since birth. Amongst the acquired causes, injury and malignancy at the top of the list. So these are the few causes we can say that the that leads to the amputation. Congenital limb deficiency is there, and this one is the phocomelia, a congenital deformity in which the limbs are extremely shortened so that the feet and hand arise close to the trunk. Acquired, we can go for the vascular, just we have discussed vascular in the ischemia, diabetes, frostbite, that is of the very extreme cold temperature, arterial insufficiency leading to death or decay of body tissues, that is of the gangrene, chronic leg ulcer leading to septicemia, that is the infection part. Infection, bone infection is there, where the osteomyelitis is there. Malignant tumors, example sarcoma, cancer of the connective tissue. Trauma, limb buried under, crushed by heavy object, or limb damaged by car accident. Stabbing, gunshot, animal bite, in some cases leading to traumatic amputation, that is a physical non-sensory separation of the limb in course of the traumatic event. So that is the causes of the amputation. Some are the natural causes, accidental causes, ritual causes, punitive and legal amputations. Cold steel and gunshot cases are the commonest. Natural causes of the limb. What are the natural causes of the limb? These are the natural congenital absence, arterial disease, frostbite, that is frostbite occurs because of the extreme cold temperature, or the patient or the person sustained in a very lower degree temperature, below the minus in the minus degree temperatures or below the 0 degree temperatures. So ergot and other toxins. So wound infections also, diabetes mellitus, it occurs usually in the 50 to 75 years of the age. Dietary deficiency also affected, and now the tumors. Tumors can also lead to the limb loss. Now, accidental causes, falls when running or from heights, crushing by trees. These are the accidental causes where any person can be affected from this. Savaging by crocodiles and sharks, effects of earthquakes, tsunamis, and violent storms. Now, ritual, punitive, and legal amputations, curing in the local pain. Okay. In removing deformity, infection of gangrene is there. In saving lives, it can be up to the amputations. It can lead to the amputation. Cold steel and gunshot causes. Iron and steel weapons involve fingers and hands. That's our in the agriculture field also. Destructive gunshot wounding associated with the mortal sepsis. when the person is affected by any gunshot, that leads to the wound, and then if the wound is not clearly cured at proper time, that leads to the infection, that is the mortal sepsis. Boiling oil, sometime patient is suffered from the boiling oil injuries, or the boiling oil just poured out on that patient's body part. Now, relatively percent of cause of lower limb amputation, as we have compared the upper limb, more than upper limb amputation, lower limb amputation is there. So, developed world causes PVD, approximately 25 to 50% of the diabetes mellitus, so 85 to 90%. And it's about the developed world. It means those countries who are developed, and the other part of those countries who are in the developing stage. So trauma, that is of the road traffic accident, another 9%. Tumor, about the health issues, 4%. Congenital deficiency, 3%. Infection, 1%. So developing world causes trauma, 55 to 95% leads to the trauma. Disease, 10 to 35% is because of the disease. Tumor, because of the 5% cases. Congenital deficiency, 4% cases. Infection is the 1 to 11 to 35. So you can compare that, if we are comparing between the developed world or in the developing world. So you can get about that the more percentage over here, where such the developing world does not have that medical facility properly, or you can say about the illiteracy. Any causes can be there from the in the countries that leads to the amputation. Relative percent of the causes of upper limb amputation, again of the trauma, 29%, disease is the 30%, congenital deficiency is up to the 15%, tumor is up to the 26%. Trauma 86%, disease 6%, congenital deficiency 6%, tumor is the 1%. Now we have moved to the types of amputations. Okay, types of amputation is the one type is the closed amputation, and second type is the open amputation, or you can say guillotine operation. This is named after the scientist. So this is regarding about the uh, amputations, type of amputation. We can go for that. So guillotine or open amputation. We'll discuss it first. So for this is about the close amputation. We can also go for the close amputation as in the PPT. So this is the close amputation is the place, or you can say is the procedure. It is done as the elective procedure. Means it should be in the elective procedure. After amputation, the soft tissues are closely primarily over the bony stump. So So after amputation, the soft tissues are closed primarily over the bony stump, or you can say above knee or the below knee, etc. So if I'm talking about the close amputation, this is where the skin close primarily. Example, most elective amputations is there, and we will go for the surgical process for close type is the tourniquet or excess attenuation. Amputation surgery is very important step in the rehabilitation of an amputee and must be approached as a plastic and reconstructive procedure. The next slide is open amputation. So we will go for the open amputation, that is the guillotine operation, the or open amputation. This is where the skin is not closed over the amputation stump. Usually, when the wound is not healthy, the operation is followed after some period by one of the following procedure for constructing a satisfactory stump. Means when the operation is followed after some period, following procedures are there, and the procedures are secondary closure, plastic repair, revision of the stump, and re-amputation. So what happened in the secondary closure? Closure of the skin flap after a few days. And the plastic repair, soft tissues are repaired without cutting the bone and skin flaps are closed. Okay, so here the soft tissues are repaired. Now we are not cutting the bone, but skin flaps are closed. Revision of the stump, that the stump which has already formed, terminal granulation tissue and scar tissue as well as moderate amount of the bone is removed and the stump reconstructed. So this is the revision stump when the terminal granulation tissue and the scar tissue as well as moderate amount of bone is removed and the stump reconstructed. Re-amputation. This is the amputation at a higher level, as if the amputation is being performed for the first time. Okay, so this is regarding about the gluten or open operation, and if it is done as an emergency procedure. Example, in the life-threatening infections, after amputation, the wound is left open and not closed. Two types depending upon the skin flaps: open amputation with inverted skin flap and circular open amputation. So this is about the open amputation. Now, what are the principles that we have to follow in the closed amputation? Tourniquets desirable except in the ischemic limbs. So tourniquets will be applied in the close amputation. Use of a tourniquet is highly desirable except in case of ischemic limb. Exsanguination. So level of amputation, it is very important to fit the prosthesis. Should be a level of amputation. There is the very important to fit the prosthesis where we can apply where we can fix the prosthesis. Skin flaps, good skin coverage is important. Skin should be mobile and sensitive. Muscle is divided at least 5 centimeter distal to the level of intended bone section and sutured. So these are the principles of the close amputation. And again, in the continuity, method of muscle suture, that is the myodesthesis. So myodesthesis and myoplasty, muscle is sutured to opposite muscle group under appropriate tension. So in this principle of close amputation, the surgeon will have to follow the muscle suture also. So where the muscle will be the sutures or where will the muscle will be the tie-up. So myodesthesis is there where the muscle is sutured to bone when the muscle is attached to the bone, and myoplasty is there when the muscle is sutured to opposite muscle group to under appropriate tension. So we will go for that. You can say that the muscle is sutured to opposite muscle groups. If the muscle group is it, then it will be sutured to the other muscle group so that the appropriate tension will be developed. Now nerves, what happened to the nerves? They cut proximally and allowed to retract. Large nerves are ligated before division. Blood vessels doubly ligated and cut. Then the tourniquet is released and hemostasis is completed. Bone section above level of muscle section. Drains removed after 48 to 78 hours. So these are the bone section above level of muscle section and the drains removed after 48 to 78 hours. We have to drain up to there. So this is the principles of close amputation. Again in continuity, compression dressing is there, either elastic or a rigid plastic dressing fitting immediately. So these are the, you can say we are wrapping it with a stretchable bandage, or the usually limb should be squeezed by wrapping it with a stretchable bandage before a tourniquet is inflated, or it is contraindicated in the case of infection and malignancy for fear of the spread of the same proximally. So these are the some principles which we go for that in this principle of the close amputation. So there are the two types of the dressing used after amputation surgery. Absolute bed rest with the limb elevation is also there. This is acceptable for the conventional processes with the adequate vascularity. So here the limb fitted conventional processes is fitted a minimum of 8 to 12 weeks after surgery. A rigid dressing with temporary pylon prosthesis may be elected as an alternative. So if we talk about the compression bandaging, Dressing, there are the two types of the dressing used after amputation surgery: conventional or soft dressing, or rigid dressing. The latter has been found to be advantageous for wound healing and early prosthetic fitting. Soft dressing, this is a conventional dressing using gauze, cotton, and bandages. Rigid dressing, in this type of dressing, after a conventional dressing, a well molded POP cast is applied on the stump at the conclusion of the surgery. Now, this helps in enhancing wound healing and maturation of the stump. In addition, the patient can be fitted with a temporarily artificial limb with a prosthetic foot or pylon for almost immediate immobilization. Positioning and elevation of the stump is also there. This is required to prevent contracture and promote healing. Move forwarding into the prosthetic fitting and gait training. Exercise, stump exercises are necessary for the maintenance range of motion of the joint proximal to the stump, and for building up strength of the muscles controlling the stump. Now, wrapping the stumps, helping in its healing, shrinkage, and maturation. This can be done with a crab bandage. Prosthetic fitting and gait training. This is started usually 3 months after the amputation. So these are some a few principles which we can go for that in this principles of the close amputations, or you can say anatomic principle of the close amputations. Now, principles of open amputation, it is indicated in the severe infection, severe crush injuries, it is in the emergency procedures. Types: open amputation with inverted skin flaps, it is a common choice. Circular open amputation, wound is kept clean. Wound is kept open and closed 2 inches by the suture, and skin grafted or re-amputation. Now, principles of open amputation: treatment following amputation. Rigid dressing concept is there. Pylon, POP, or cast is applied to the stump over the dressing after the surgery. Now, soft dressing concept. The stump is dressed with a sterilite dress and elastocrab bandage applied over it. You can see that. So we have about the open. This is you can say principles of the open reduction and the close reduction, open amputation and the close amputation. Now we will talk about the complications. The complications of the amputations is the hematomas, infection, necrosis, or in the contractures, neuromas, stump pain, phantom sensation, hyperesthesia of stump edema, bone overgrowth, and causalgia. So you can say that what are the hematoma? Say hematoma, inadequate hemostasis is there. Loosening of the ligature and inadequate wound drainage are the common cause. Hematoma results in delayed wound healing and the infection. It should be aspirated and a pressure bandage is given. Now, infection, the cause generally is an underlying peripheral vascular disease, diabetes, or a hematoma. Now, what happens in infection? This causes generally is an underlying peripheral vascular disease, diabetes, or hematoma. Wound breakdown and occasionally spread of infection proximally may necessitate amputation at a higher level. A wound should not be closed whenever the surgeon is in doubt about the vascularity of the muscle or skin at the cut end. Any discharge from the wound should be treated promptly. Now, skin flap necrosis. A minor or major skin flap necrosis indicates insufficient circulation of the skin flap. It can be avoided by taking care at the time of designing skin flap that as much as subcutaneous tissue remain with the skin flap as possible. Small areas of flap necrosis may heal with dressing, but for larger areas, redesigning of the flaps may be required. Now, if we talk in the next about the phantom sensation, or you can say neuroma. A neuroma always forms at the end of a cut now. In case of a neuroma is bound down to the scar because of the adhesions, it become painful. Painful neuroma can usually be prevented by dividing the nerve supply at a proximal level and allowing it to retract well proximal to the end of the stump. So, in the continuity of the neuroma, which is leaded to that, now the stump pain is there. So, painful neuroma can usually be prevented to the proximal end of the stump to lie in the normal soft tissue. If it does form, it's to be excited at the more proximal level. Now, about the phantom sensation. All individuals with acquired amputation experience some form of phantom sensation, as sensation as if the amputated part is still present. So, the sensation is most prominent in the period immediately following amputation and gradually diminishes with the time. Now, phantom pain is the awareness of the pain in the amputated limb. So, treatment is the difficult over this. In the next is hyperesthesia of the stump. The stump which is formed with the hyperesthesia is the sensation part is more over there. Stump edema can occur. The swelling part will be there. Bone overgrowth, or you can say causalgia, that is the pain of the stump. Now, complication phantom limbs. Okay, I have discussed about that. Let me discuss more. Some amputees experience the phenomena of phantom limbs. They feel body parts that are no longer there. Limbs can itchy, ache, and feel as if they are moving. Scientists believe that it has to do with the neural map that sends information to the brain about the limbs regardless of their existence. In many cases, the phantom limb aids in adaptation to a process as it permits the person to experience the proprioception of the prosthetic limb. So, now here, if the process is applied, just you can see in the picture, now the phantom phantom limb is helpful for the patient to gain or to acknowledge the prosthesis over his body. Painful adhesive scar formation. An adherent painful scar over the surgical incision poses a problem in process of rehabilitation. Now it may obstacle in fitting prosthesis. Early mobilization of the painful scar is recommended with other therapeutic modalities. Now, new bone formation at the amputation sites. It has been reported that new bone formation 5 weeks after electrical burn. The stump should be closely watched for any sign and symptoms like tenderness, warmth, and swelling. Such symptoms delayed fitting final prosthesis. Flexion deformity. Yes, this is also a common thing, or you can say this is also these are the results from improper positioning of the amputation stump leading to contracture. A mild or moderate contracture is treated by appropriate positioning and gentle passive stretching exercises. Severe deformity may need surgical corrections also. So deformity complicates the process of the prosthetic fitting and the ambulation. Now, hyperesthesia of the stump. This is another annoying symptom that is difficult to control. Reamputation results only in reproducing the symptom of at the higher level. Circulatory disorder, diabetic foot infection, or gangrene. The most common cause reason of a non-traumatic amputation. Sepsis with peripheral necrosis that can lead also to the that is also circulatory disorder, and that can lead to the amputation. Neoplasm. Now, cancerous bone or soft tissues tumors, that is osteosarcoma, osteochondroma, fibrosarcoma, epithelioid sarcoma, Ewing sarcoma, synovial sarcoma, and sacrococcygeal teratoma. These are the cancerous bone or soft tissues tumors that can lead to the amputation, as they can advance in the other form and they can change the physiology of the muscles or physiology of the bone. Anatomical parts are involved, so that can lead to the amputation also. Melanoma is also there. Trauma, severe limb injuries in which the limb cannot be spared or attempts to spare the limb have failed. Traumatic amputation. Amputations occur usually at the scene of the accident where the limb is partially or wholly severed. Amputation in utero, that is the amniotic band. About the infection, bone infection, that is of the osteomyelitis. So, if we talk about the religious as a punishment in Islam, so hopefully this is not in the continually following today in this world. According to Islam Sharia law, the punishment for stealing is the amputation of the hand, and after repeated offense, the foot. Quran is 5:38. This controversial practice is still in practice today in countries like Iran, Saudi Arabia, and northern Nigeria. Others, sometimes professional athletes, may choose to have digit amputated to relieve chronic pain and impaired performances. Australian footballer Daniel Check elected to have his left ring finger amputated as chronic pain and injury was limiting his performance. Rugby player John Tawake also had a finger removed. Now, if we talk about the amputation level nomenclature, all terminology and the current terminology which is used. Old terminology is the partial hand, the current is the same, the partial hand. Wrist disc articulation, wrist disc articulation below elbow. Now we go for the transradial. Elbow disc articulation, same as the elbow disc articulation. Above elbow, transhumeral. Shoulder disarticulation, shoulder disarticulation. Forequarter, forequarter. Partial foot and partial foot is the same. Symes or is the old terminology. Ankle disarticulation is the current terminology. Below knee is the transtibial. Knee disarticulation above knee transfemoral. Hip disarticulation is the same, hip disarticulation. Hemipelvectomy is there, but now it is called as the transpelvic. Levels of the amputation. Yes, it is important. The levels of the amputation. So, with modern techniques of fitting artificial limbs, strict levels adhere to the past are no longer tenable principles guiding levels of amputations. So, it follows that the disease, extent, and nature of disease of trauma for which amputation is being done. So, it is important consideration that tends to be conservative with dry gangrene and trauma, but liberal with the acute life-threatening infections and malignancies. So over here is that we have to go for the normal. We have to go for the different amputation level. So partial toward the excision of any part of the one or more toes. So this is the at the level of the partial toe disarticulation, disarticulation of the metatarsophalangeal joint, partial foot or ray resection, resection of third to fifth metatarsal and digit, transmetatarsal, amputation through the mid-section of the all metatarsals. In the Symes, ankle disarticulation with attachment of heel pad to distal tibia. Long transtibial below knee more than 50% tibial length. Short transtibial below knee between 20 to 20% and 50% of tibial length. Knee disarticulation through knee joint. Long transfemoral above knee more than 60% femoral length. Transfemoral above knee between 35 and 60% of femoral length. Short transfemoral above knee less than 35% femoral length. Hip disarticulation, amputation through hip joint, pelvis intact. Hemipelvectomy, resection of the half limb of the half of the pelvis. Hemi corporectomy, translumbar, amputation both lower limb and pelvis below L4 and L5 level. Level of amputation, we can go for the lower limb transtibial including foot. So these are the, you can say, developing word or developing word or criteria which is now have two changes in the different worlds also. Now principal consideration to amputate a preservation of life, improvement of general health, or restoration of function or reduction of pain. So these are the four principles which we have to consider for before amputations, or you can say which we have to consider if we are going through the procedure of the amputation. Preservation of the life. If the life is preserved, means if the amputation can leads to the preservation of the life or can leads to the life sparing, so then we will go for that. Improvement of general health, the if the infection part is removed by the amputation, then it improving the general health of the body. A restoration of the function, if the restoration of function is going on of the person in the ADLs, in the activities of daily activities. Reduction of the pain is there, means if the, as we have gone through the examples of the football player which they have removed their finger because of the reduction of the pain. So, who is the clinical team members and function? The book refer, I have referred the book over here, the O11. So this is a physician, that is the clinical chief, coordinators, team decision making, supervises, which who supervises the client's general and medical conditions, prescribes appliances. So the physician will consider that the above the normal physiological process, physiological condition of the person. Physical therapist, that is the physiotherapist, we can go for that, evaluates and treat clients through pre and prosthetic phases and makes recommendation for prosthetic components and whether or not to fit the client. Maybe clinical coordinator also. Prosthetist will make the prosthetic. Fabricates and modified prosthesis, recommends prosthetic components, share data on the new prosthetic developments. Occupational therapist, he assesses the and treats individual with upper limb amputations, make recommendations for components also. Social worker, financial counselor, and coordinator will be there. Provides liaisons with third-party prayers and community assistance agencies. Helps family cope up with the social and financial problems. Dietitians consult for diabetes or those needing diet guidance. The vocational counselor assess the client's employment potential, coordinates and make fund education, training, and placement. Rehabilitation of the lower limb amputations, pre-operative period or the post-operative period. So these are the phases in which we will go for the you can say which will go for the amputation in the pre-operative phases and post-operative period. Pre-prosthetic stage is there and prosthetic stage will be there. So before that, we will go for that few details about the specific features of amputation in children. As we have discussed that amputation in children and also we have to follow the following special procedures. Children may have amputation since birth, that is of the congenital. A disarticulation is preferred to an amputation through the shaft of a long bone at a more proximal level. This is because disarticulation preserves the epiphysis distally and therefore growth of the stump continues at the normal rate. As the child grows, terminal overgrowth of the bone occurs and need frequent revisions. A child needs frequent changes in the size of the artificial limb. Children tolerate artificial limbs much better and get used to wearing it more quickly. So these are the cases in which special features of the amputation in children occurs. Now we will go for the pre-prosthetic stage and post-prosthetic stage. So this is about the pre-operative period. As the patient, we have to prepare the patient also. So in the pre-operative period, we will take the assessment, the physical assessment of the patient. That patient will be gone through the amputation or not. What are the requirements of the amputation as a physically? Social assessment will be also there, as the patient has the what kind of the social status or what kind of the social conditions which he is or she is in she is in having. Psychological also, the patient is in the psychological state of the understanding the amputation of the his or her limb. Training will be there, as after amputation how he will go for that, or before amputation what kind of the training will be there. Reassurance is there, reassurance, so that why we are going for the amputation, for giving him or her a specific reason or a particular a good reason, so that the quality of the life or the preservation of the life will be there. In the assessment, preoperative assessment, the affected limb and the unaffected limb, we both have to assess. The patient as a whole is conducted thoroughly. Assessment of physical, social, and psychological status of the patient should be made. We have to assess the affected limb, how it is affected, what kind of the condition the patient is suffering from. The unaffected limb, what kind of the condition the patient is suffering from in the affected unaffected limb, or any kind of the specific requirement is in the unaffected limb. Physical assessment, muscle strength of the upper limb, trunk and lower limb apart from the affected limb before level of amputation. As the limb, affected limb will be amputated, the whole body muscle, the whole body muscle strength or the whole body be weight bear on the strength of the upper limb and trunk and lower limb in which may, and the affected limb which is already amputated, the weight, or you can say the part, the function which the affected limb performed, that form also be performed by the other part of the body. Joint mobility, particularly proximal to the amputation level. Now respiratory functions, we have to follow the respiratory functions as the patient undergoes the surgery, so we require the patient to perform the respiratory activities properly. Balance reaction in sitting and standing, so this is the balance reaction in sitting and standing. Functional ability, so functional ability is there. Vision and hearing status, we have to go for the balance reaction also, that the sitting and standing, whichever the part is amputated, so how it will be the affected in the sitting and standing position. Functional ability of the patient, functional ability of the patient, we will have to go for that, the how the functional ability of the person is going on, or we can improve that the functional ability of the person. Vision and hearing status also, so we have to go for the vision and hearing status as the patient, what is the how the patient is behaving, or how the patient eyesight is there. If the eyesight is not that much strong, or the auditory capacity is not that much good, then we have to go for that different conditions also, or you can say this is the part of the physical assessment. Social assessment includes, now social assessment includes, that is the family and the friend supports. So if the patient undergoes the amputations, if you can say the psychological status or the patient's nature will patient will dependent on the family and friends, that have, that should be the supportive for the morale boosting of the person, that that he has lost his one part of the body, but he has the whole body, or you can say he had the preservation of preserve the life, or you can say functional ability of the person will differ, so the family and the friends should be supportive. Living accommodation, so we have to assess that living accommodation the patient lives, where the patient has to follow the stairs also, or the ramps or the rails, or with the width of the width of the door is how there, because the patient is on the wheelchair for a particular period of time until the prosthetic will not be applied. Wheelchair accessibility is there or not. If the patient has to follow up the stairs, either how he can maintain the stair climbing, or you can say how who can help him to the lift up to the stairs. Proximity of the shops, what kind of the proximity of the shops are there, or you can say what kind of the social environment is there, so that shops required things, shops are just like general stores or in a grocery stores will be there in the proximity or in the nearby, so that the patient does not have to suffer for this little things into the this condition. Psychological assessment, according to the assessment, physiologically and social status is equivalent to the psychological assessment also. Patient psychological approach to an amputation is very much necessary. How the patient is behaving towards is the psychologically towards the amputation. Motivation to talk, as the patient has to be confident, or the patient has to be a willpower, so that the he can walk, or he can go for that activities which the amputee part has done. Now, other psychological problems also, as such, now patient is suffering from amputations, or patient will go under the amputation, and you can have to assess. You will have to assess that the patient will not suffer from any other psychological problems, just like depression, or in the other disorders, mood disorders, or any other split personality disorders. The patient has to be assessed from these psychological disorders. Now, pre-operative training is also there. We have to follow the basic aims to prevent post-operative complications, to reduce the cost of rehabilitation, to reduce the period of rehabilitation. So these are the basic aims which we have to follow for the pre-operative training. To prevention of the thrombosis, maintaining circulation through movement of the other good limbs. So these are the training programs which involves the to prevent of the thrombosis, maintaining circulation through movement of other good limb, to prevent the chest complication. Deep breathing, coughing, and postural drainage should be maintained. To relieve pressure mobility of the joints, more emphasis is given to the susceptible joints. So these are the training programs which includes. Now, to improve mobility, how we will improve the mobility? Mobility exercises for the trunk, pelvic or shoulder girdle. Mobility exercises to compensate for the deficiency and restrictions due to prosthesis. Teach the techniques to be adapted for mobility and limb positioning in the bed. The therapist will have to follow all this pre-operative training for the patient, as the patient will undergo after the amputation for these strongness of the trunk, pelvic or shoulder girdle, if the lower limb amputation is there, or to compensate the deficiency or restrictions due to prosthesis, or teach the techniques to be adapted for mobility and limb positioning in the bed. Now, to educate the patient, yes, it is also important how we will educate the patient. Educate the techniques of the transfers from wheelchair to bed or bed to wheelchair, monitoring wheelchair, single limb standing is there, and balancing. Explain important aspect of balance, equilibrium, standing, and walking techniques. Educate to detect the possible complications like soft tissue tightness, pressure points, expected degree of pain, and phantom pain. We have to educate the patient about all these techniques, and all the cases of the all the follow procedures after the amputations, about the balance, equilibrium, standing, and walking techniques, so that the patient will be mentally prepared for the conditions if he has to follow these conditions. Reassurance. Psychological reassurance play an important role in recovery. Reassurance with all the possible encouragement, practical demonstration by who has undergone similar surgery. So this is the reassurance part which we have to follow. Now, now these are the things which we need to go for that the in the amputation part. Now we will go for the multiple choice questions, as we need to know about evaluate about how we have discussed about the amputation, or in the meanwhile which we got the information which is related to the amputation. Now, which of the following best defines residual limb pain? Pain which persists beyond 1 year after amputation, pain in the part of the limb which has been amputated, pain in the part of the limb that remains following amputation, pain which does not respond to pain medication. So this is the answer which we can go for that, the pain in the part which of the limb which has been amputated. So, why is physical therapy typically started as soon as possible after amputation? So, it is associated with the best possible functioning of the limb. It is been shown to reduce PTSD. It is linked to decreased risk of falling. It tends to reduce overall pain. So, it is associated with the best possible functioning of the limb. As the if the function of the limb will be there, there is a less chance of the falling, decreased risk of falling. It tends to reduce overall pain. So it should be the followed in this procedure. Now, which of the following is the most common reason for amputation? Traumatic injury, poor blood flow, infection, or the chronic pain. So, commonest reason for the you can say commonest reason uh, for the amputation is the traumatic injury, as the trauma leads to the uh, amputation, and the infection is also in the secondary region. Now, the next question is that when a patient asks when he should expect to be up and walking after his below knee amputation, the nurses assures him that the most amputees are full weight bearing within one. First is the 3 weeks, second is the 1 month, third is the 3 weeks, or fourth is the 3 months. So, if we talk about that the fully weight bearing within and the process is applied, so answer is the 3 months. The nurse conducting the safety seminars reminds the audience that upper extremity amputation is most frequent caused by trauma, and the highest incidence of this is in between this is in school age girls, school age boys, young men, or young women. So young men has the more tendency, as the male and female ratio is male ratio is the more rather than comparatively to the female. So, thank you so much for listening up to this topic, amputation. As in, this is Dr. Ruchika, Assistant Professor in Suresh Gyan Vihara University in the Department of Physiotherapy. If you have any doubt, if you have any conclusion regarding this amputation class or amputation video, you can drop your comment you can drop your views in the comment box. Thank you so much.